Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I represent Bahamian people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro. Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that coming after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days break till it grieve me. But I doing the best I can, trying to turn my dollar to 100 grand. I represent the ghetto people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro.
Good night, Bahamas, and welcome to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I am your host, Valentino Brown, a.k.a. Scoochie or Scrooge. I am your host of the talk show, Inside the Inner City, that premieres on Guardian Radio every Friday at 6:30 to 8 p.m. Besides holidays, telephone numbers tonight on Guardian Radio are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. You can text us, powered by BTC, at 422-GR9. 6. Well, it's a pleasure again to be a host. The weeks goes very fast, even the weekends. I want to encourage everyone to keep on fighting. You know, the struggle is real, but every day you get up, you know, it can be a brighter day. So I want to encourage everyone to just keep up the struggle. You know, keep on trying, don't give up. Okay, tonight's topic tonight, I was supposed to have the Camp Road Association in, but we miscommunicate. It's actually next week, Friday, they're supposed to be on the show. So this week, we're going to talk about some issues that is plaguing the country. And before I do that, I want to give out some community announcements for the inner city community. Beginning tomorrow at 12 a.m., or PM, I should say, we will be having ICANN cookout, which has been going on for 3 weeks in the Grandstand community. And I'm inviting those who reside in the community, a neighboring community, to please come out and get a healthy plate of food. It's just trying to get the community back together. So every Saturday, ICANN will be on the park. We have a few chefs who have volunteered their free time to cook nutritious food for the kids and the community. Last week, they had shrimp, apple, oranges, and etc. So it was very good. And also, we had a basketball practice with Coach Abel Joseph, one of the best basketball players who went overseas. He is now a head coach. He works in the Mason Edition community, and he also works in my community. I made him the director of Sports Association on my end in Grandstand, because he has been doing such a tremendous job. Beginning March 9th, we will be having a 3 weeks basketball tournament, 3 division, 120 players will be available. 6 super mini teams will be going at it. Their age range begins at the age of 8 to 13. They will be going at it. Then we have the junior division from 13 to 17. That consists of 40 players will be going at it. And then we have the senior division, which consists of the older kids and grown-ups in the area, where we combine their age bracket together, and they go at it to participate at the best of their ability. And it's 6 teams of those, so it'd be 60 players. So in total, we have 120 players who will be going at it for 3 weeks on Hay Street Park. Lenahan, Bahamas is the major sponsor for this basketball tournament, and it's going to benefit the community very, very greatly. Hey, you saying Frankie P? Charms one to the world. I see my boy Frankie down in Florida. You know, he have his great organization, Charms One, on East Street. If you need car parts, you need fenders, alternators, signal lights, and etc. Please feel free to shop at Charms One. Okay, you get the best and cheapest prices, and you get it within a week time. Shipped order will be here in a week time. I also want to give a shout out to my sponsor for the night show, a next business owner. I know Charms One is going to sponsor me sometime next month. You know, so I'm not concerned about that. I got to get some sponsors in for Guardian. The sponsor for the day show is Joey's Restaurant and Bar. That is located on Fish Fry. Okay, Don from Junkanoo Beach. He sells delicious food. I'm talking about fried fish, steam conch, crack conch, and etc. Food tastes delicious. I don't know who cook he get there, who's cooked, but boy, she could cook. So if you're out tonight, Saturday night, and you want to have yourself a wonderful time, please stop by Joey's Fish Fry. And the one of that establishment is Brookshot. I don't know, a scrubber. And I want to also congratulate him on his endorsement to expand his business, not only here in the Bahamas, but he's expanding to Canada. And I also want to give a shout out to Drifters, okay, for doing a wonderful job. Okay. And also to the government of the Bahamas. You know, our roads are terrible, but I can see this government is committed to trying to make the Bahamian people live the best way possible with the best care. I can see they're riding around Nassau, New Providence, and they're patching up the roads, getting ready to pave the roads. Like I said, out east is bad, out west is bad, inner city is bad, out South Beach is bad, so we need to get these roads right. And I'd also like to advise the general public, those persons who live in vicinities and roads that are potholes, you know, you can also call into the road works department and put in your complaint so that you can get these guys who are on the road, who are serving the road right now, to come and take a look, and, you know, and probably patch it up for you, okay? So don't just rely on the government. They are moving around the country. They're looking at potholes. They're patching them. They're looking at roads that are not road ready and trying to prepare them. So you as a citizen who living close and see the problem, look in the yellow pages or go on your phone and look up Google, and you can Google up the road department, and you can get the number, and you can call, and you can put in your complaint. You know, it's better for us because too much tires, the roads are terrible in the country. So I want to commend the government on actually pushing the road works. And that's not also here in Nassau, no problem, but also on the Family Island. I say Ching, when you say Ching, I see my boy Ching, him Latch. You say Ching? Respect, Ching. I know my boy Ching. Ching, when you come into town? All right. I see my boy Puff Daddy. What you say, Puff? Puff, I just greeting some of my Facebook friends. Puff Daddy. I see Nate the Great. Nate the Great all the way in Dubai. Boy, Nate, you did great in Dubai. I'm proud of you. You know, Nate is representing the Bahamas as ambassador in Dubai. He has been over there from November. He was recently on the show last year. And since you didn't hear it from Nate in those few weeks, he was in Dubai representing the Bahamas. And he's talking to the Sheik and everything, man. That's crazy. Yes, Ching. Yeah, Nate the Great. That's my boy. Well, Nate, when you get back in town, we get a lot of programs coming up because we really need to break out of this COVID-19 pandemic and get to trying to get back to normal. Some things are not going to be normal, but I see some restrictions are folding. You know, it's even getting to the point where they say you're not going to be using masks so directly. Boy, I can't wait. But anyway, in the meantime, we want to get our community back together. We have a lot of kids who are beasts in the community and proactive in the community, and we want to get them back. You know, school is open. I want to congratulate the Ministry of Education, Ms. Glenahana Martin, on taking the charge and making the right decision to get these kids back in school, okay? I also want to commend the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernando, and Glenahana Martin, and all the teachers and the police officers who went around in the inner city community around the country looking for those kids that have not been proactive in school for close to 19 months and getting them prepared, giving them information, let them know school is open. And now we have many kids are back in school, and they're still working on the ground trying to get many, many more kids back in school. Yes, And that's what I'm talking about, a village. You know, when we see what is necessary, we need to do to combine our efforts together to make a better Bahamas. Okay? Respect, Nate. All right. Okay, so where are we going to start at? I also want to commend the government on foreign investments that they are looking to encourage here to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And this is very important, okay? This is very important. I see here, I'm going to read some of the stuff the government is doing that is going to really be beneficial to the Bahamian people. We're talking about the Marina sale. That's going to be a huge boost for Freeport. I think here, let me read it. A well-known Freeport Marina is under contract to be sold as part of a deal involving construction of a new 20-unit combo hotel. James Starless, principal of James Starless Realty, said the Port Lucayan Marina pending acquisition by a Florida-based investor was one of several investments, you know, that would be returning Freeport to life in 2020. He said the Marina deal, together with projects such as Doctors Hospital, planned Grand Bahama expansion, the Western Atlantic University Medical School, and the O2 Resort Development. You know, this is great news. You know, we need more investment like that, foreign investment in the country. They said that if the country want to go forward with the stagnate of the 18, 19 months of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government has to go there and look for foreign investors to come invest in the country, okay? And also to get that part of the country, what we say, proactive. Freeport has been in decline for many years, and it's time that we look at ways where we can bring development to Freeport, Grand Bahama, and we have to bring in foreign investors, okay? All right, let me see else. What else is the government doing? There are more investments. I see the Minister Clay Sweden will be traveling to the Middle East to negotiate on our agriculture here in the country. I think that is a plus, you know, because if we can't feed ourselves, then as a nation, we have done ourselves a great disservice. So I want to compliment the government again for looking on innovative ways where they can bring investment to the Bahamas. They're going to the Middle East. I see they're down in Dubai. They're doing some business with Dubai. Dubai has a lot of ideas. They're very creative, and they are technology advanced. So it's good that we are doing some type of partnership investment that could benefit the Bahamas. And again, I want to congratulate Clay Sweden going to the Middle East to try and negotiate on our agriculture. He's going to an expo, and there's so much you can learn. We have 700 islands that we can develop. Not all can be developed, but they can be tying it to something. We don't need to use the whole 700, but we have a large enough of family islands to actually feed ourselves, whether it's cow, whether it's sheep, goat, whether it's fish, whether it's fruits and vegetables. The Bahamas has 700 islands that we can develop for agriculture, because with the blockade going on around the world with the COVID-19, truckers are not able to move in Canada and the US and etc. You know, food prices are increasing. You're hearing the owners of Super Value, etc. And many stores have Canada prices on food items. So, you know, we have to be proactive. We have to invest. I want to commend the government for looking for many different investments, you know, to bring to Freeport, Grand Bahama, and also here to the Bahamas. So some good stuff going on. Good stuff going on. All right? So I want to say thanks to my Facebook friends again and everyone who are watching. Yes, Charles won to the world. I see you, my brother Frankie. All right. Let me see what I'm going to now. All right. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, my bad. Oh, yes. And there's also a lot of, how I should say, going on around the country when it comes to audit reports. You know, we're seeing more investigation after visa audit. We're reading in the newspaper where the former government, you know, ain't adding up. And let me read. After an auditor general reported into the travel health visa program, funds found that contracts were not executed in accordance with the law. Prime Minister Brave Davis said further investigation on those findings will continue. I think our concerns expressed while in opposition about the travel visa and how it was implemented are being manifest in what the reports revealed. Mr. Davis told reporters on the sideline of an event yesterday, it doesn't end there. I'm advised that further investigation on these findings will continue and we'll see where it leads. You know? In the report tabled in Parliament on Wednesday, the Auditor General found that the contracts for the travel health visa were not executed in accordance with the Financial Regulation 1975, which requires that all contracts for supplies, workers, and services by the government in access. Page 4. Access. Let me see. Yes, right here. Of 250,000 be approved by cabinet. There was no competitive bidding, and service initially began with a verbal agreement, only not written contracts. Tourism officials justified by emphasizing time. What is it? Consent? Yeah. However, Auditor General Bastian did not uncover evidence of fraud or grave mismanagement. Still, Mr. Davis, the Prime Minister said, was asked if authorities or police will get involved in the investigation. He said that would be a matter for the investigators to determine where it ends up. But whatever the chips fall, there it will land. Wow, crazy. Okay, I get a message here from Troy Simmons that everyone knows him down on East Street. Fallen Soldiers Memorial Basketball Tournament is back in saddle and will commence this coming August. Charms one to the world. It's good to have persons like Troy Simmons to actually be a big brother in the community and do positive stuff to get the community together. So I want to give a thumbs up to Troy Simmons. Everyone knows him as Ours. And also to Frankie. Everyone knows Frankie P. You know, Charms one to the world. So they'll be collaborating to bring some enjoyment and fun to that particular community that they reside in. You know, they always giving back. Yes. Kenya. Miss Ramin. All right. I see you, Miss Ramin. Good night to you. Yes. Fallen Soldiers Basketball Tournament. Okay, and when he's saying Fallen Soldiers, he's talking about all the guys down each screen. I can name some of the guys. And these were my arch rivalry when I was involved in illegal activities, gangs, and etc. They were the enemy, and he was talking about Fallen Soldiers like Anton Roll, you know, a.k.a. Lamborghini, that's what I used to call him. William Farrington, a.k.a. Bar. Jewett Bear, a.k.a. Rugged. And there's many, many more names I can call, but, you know, I just want to give reference to that part of the community and show my respect to those who have lost their lives. And the Fallen Soldiers Basketball Tournament is to be a preventative measure for the young youths and to remember all of these guys who actually lost their lives. You know, we were young, we were stupid, and we made a lot of mistakes. For those who have made it out, we try to do our best to make sure we educate the next generation and also be a beacon and a voice to the powers to be, whether it's the prime minister, whether it's the government of the day, and sponsors who want to help, to persuade them and give them an understanding of why it's so important what we're doing in this community and why we need the support from government, the church, and we need support from our neighbors also. Yeah. Yes. So that's great. And the government is doing a wonderful, wonderful job right now, easing some of the restriction on us. And I think that has been a plus for us. You know, things are tough, but at least we can move around. We can start to work again, you know, and they open the economy back. We have tourists coming in the country. We have small businesses opening back again. We have people moving around. But most importantly, many persons are still being very cautious. They're using their masks. There's still 6 feet separation. You know, no one is taking the foot off the pedal. But at the same time, people are being very cautious, and this is a plus. We have a significant decrease in COVID-19 infection in the hospital and around the world. So this is good for us. This is good for us as a country. Okay. Yes. All right. I want to say special request to my good friend, Warren Roll, 357 Non. Everyone knows of one family, you know, and etc. Okay. Some good stuff. Now let's get to some stuff that I think it's should be discussed here today. Okay. Just recently, you know, we talked about the Royal Bahamas Police Force a few weeks ago. You know, I'm an advocate. You know, I'm not against the police force. I'm just against some of the practices that happens on the force that is being overlooked, where officers themselves believe they're above the law and they violate the laws and constitution of the Bahamas in many ways. And if we want a better country, we have to correct some of these invisible problems that have been affecting us for many, many years. And the only way we can have that if we have this dialogue. So I'm very grateful to Guardian Radio allowing me to have a voice on Guardian Radio with my past experience in the law enforcement business, being a criminal, being a community-minded. As I changed my life and I became a more community-minded person, I excel because I know both of the world. I know what the problem is and I know how to fix the problem, and I have many solutions for the country's problem. If anyone listened to me over the years, there's many programs I've been working with many governments over the years, and many laws has been passed in Parliament. So I'm still working hard for the Bahamian people and to get this country on the right track. We just recently had 4 former police officers charged before the court for manslaughter. They're not guilty. You know, they're not guilty. They're before the courts. They were remanded to prison, but I think they got bail, and they're out. They're facing a charge of manslaughter, you know, where it's assumed until they're proven guilty before the court, where they're accused of causing the death of a young man. And it seems to me they were investigated by the Criminal Investigation Department of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Now, this is the kind of policing we want in the country, okay? Because we can't have a country where, yes, it's high crime. Yes, we have 100 murders, okay? Yes, we have high armed robbery. Yes, high rape. But that don't mean the police officer got to act the same way as those criminals or they're who causing mass destruction to the country. That don't, you know, it doesn't fit well as a society. It's going to backfire, you know, because you're going to be approaching many people who are innocent, and because of the high crime, you know, you really can't. It's a hard situation for the police, you know, with 100 murders, 90 murders, all kind of people getting killed left, right, and center, kids getting killed, school children getting killed, grandmothers getting killed, innocent people getting killed. So, you know, with all this shooting going on and the training and then the ruthlessness of the criminals around in the country, the police train hard, you know. They come from the same environment and they go in the force, and some of them carry the same mentality as the guy who out there harming innocent people on the streets. And they take that in there and they use their position, signing a contract with the government. They use it to their benefit. Okay? And what I'm saying now is we advocate. And this is with democracy. This is why democracy is so important. Many people are talking about how their loved ones got killed either Fire Trail Road or in Soldier Road, in Nassau Village, in Mason Edition, which is D. I know the whole family. I know his father. I know his mother. Chubby is his father. I know his uncle, Muff. Me and Muff went to D.W. Davis. I know some of his aunt. I know his cousin, who just was recently killed, also in a what you call a drive-by shooting. So there's a lot of persons out there, giving account about their family members, and they're saying like they're innocent. Some just went to the store, and all of this happening now because there's such a high rate in crime and the police are very aggressive. They don't know who is who in the country because all of us look alike. Some are stressed to see them, and then sometimes the police just go overboard and just abuse their power. I've seen this over and over. And if there's an officer who has some kind of integrity to really control other officers, then it's chaos. And like I said, the police act the way they're acting. Some, like I said, are not properly trained. Some, since they get the contract, they understand the system. They believe they're protected by the law, and they have the system in place where it can't be broken. Officers don't talk on officers and et cetera. Maternity, so it is not. We're not trying to break the cycle. We just want transparency. Officers make mistakes. Think about this, many people. Do you believe that every member of the Royal Bahamas Police Force are law-abiding citizens? Do you believe that for 1 minute, that every officer on the Royal Bahamas Police Force are law-abiding citizens? In the cracks, there are persons who are doing illegal activity, and they are protected by the system. But the system now has to fight back because the integrity of the Royal Bahamas Police Force is to secure the safety of the citizen and the country alike. In order to do that, you have to have a balance where the citizens themselves have respect for the police officers. And I want to remind the general public the police are so important for us in this country because when we're sleeping and persons are trying to break in a house, the police are called and they put their lives on the line. When someone is robbing the bank, the police are called to defend. When someone is acting in a particular manner disorderly, the police are called in to deal with these matters. Okay? When there's an incident, fire, the police are called. So they serve their purpose. But some purpose, they do not serve. Okay? And that purpose is you cannot become what you're fighting against. Okay? You cannot become a person who, in a uniform, you're talking about the law, but you yourself is violating the law. And I'm glad to see that the powers to be, I think this is the Minister of National Security orders is ongoing from the previous administration, and then the now Minister of National Security, Honorable Vian Munro, has put forward the matter from the Attorney General office. Now we have 4 officers charged for manslaughter. I think they're out on bail now. And listening to the Guardian radio, they say now a voluntary bill of indictment will be put forward where this case goes straight to the Supreme Court. So I don't know if the officers are guilty or not guilty, but it's very serious when you see a bill of indictment when you just get charged and it's going straight to the Supreme Court. That means your matter is going to be before the courts in no time, and your case will be tried in no time. So they must have some incriminating evidence against the officers. But this is a plus for us as citizens. This will bring some relief to many citizens now, seeing that the law itself is actually doing what the law is supposed to do when there are circumstances, fishy circumstances surrounding these shooting incidents. Well, all we hear is they shoot at the police, and the police wasn't fair to their life, and they returning fire. Now, in some cases, we have a lot of guys out there who are very, very dangerous, mind you. But sometimes mistakes happen, intentionally or unintentionally. It could be because the officer just is aggressive. You know, a lot of shooting going on. You know, his adrenaline is going. You know, or he is a person having family problems and he ain't into nobody. You know, he bring his personal life on the job, and you know, and he's a road cop, and we have this. So we need system in place where we have the Criminal Investigation Department of the Royal Bahamas Police Force deal with any complaint. If there's any suspicious report made by members of the public concerning their loved ones. So when we see people on the news and they're talking about their loved ones who got shot and killed by police, and if it seems fishy, then it's the job of the Attorney General office to find these family members, interview them, and just do a proper investigation. And once you do a proper investigation, and if you find the officers not at fault, well, let's explain to the family why the officers was not at fault and what did their loved one did wrong to deserve their life being taken. You know, and you can explain in many ways. Like we tried to pull him over, tried to talk to him. He fired a shot, tried to run. We tried to apprehend him. He turned around, and he fired some more shots. So me and my partner opened fire. Once you did all you could to de-escalate the situation. All right? So they're before the court, and this gives a lot of Bahamian people relief. I was walking around, and some people say, wow, that's crazy. You think they can get convicted, or you think anything is going to come over it, because many cases that goes to the coroner's court, Bahamian people do not believe in the coroner's court because it's a police or government-oriented coroner's court. And like they say, it's a fraternity. They protect the police officers. But now we're seeing where we get in the Criminal Investigation Department involved in matters now. They're doing the proper investigation. They're charging officers. And that's what we want as a country. You know, it has to be balanced for the citizens. Yes, it's high crime. Yes, we have some dangerous pedophiles and dangerous murders out there. But we still have to be passionate. We have to have integrity. You know, and we have to have that balance where we as citizens respect the Royal Bahamas Police Force and its members. For me, even when I was a guy who was involved in illegal activities, I had utmost respect for senior officers, like former, I think, Superintendent Douglas Hanno, Inspector Wari Sanders, I think it's Assistant Commissioner of Police, Cash, you know, Ashton Greenslade, Deputy, I think it's Deputy Assistant Commissioner of Police, Ashton Greenslade. I have my good friend Marco Gaudet, who's now Inspector. I have my cousin Quentin Brennan, who is a police officer on the force. You know, I have Richard Stevenson, known as Alaka. He's inspector also. I think he's retired now. And there's many, many more officers who I know personally who are outstanding officers who you can talk to, who you can, you know, have a conversation with, and very understanding. And I would like to say, you know, there are many good officers out there. And I like the stance that Royal Bahamas Police Force is dealing with these complaints now. They're not just talking, but they are acting. We have to keep a balance, hey, if we want a better country. You know, prime example, you know, I thought it was fake news. I saw a report where there was a drug bust on a particular family island. They were apprehended. It was the DA, the Bahamas Drug Enforcement Unit. And when they did the swoop, they were given information from reliable sources that a police officer was the one who they were supposed to turn the plane over which the drugs was in. So I thought it was fake news, but as I keep on reading, like yesterday and the day, I was seeing here where that officer was put on half pay. But this particular matter was not brought to the public's attention. You know, it seems like it was in the media for about a second, but then you didn't know if it was real or not. But as I continue to read, like today and yesterday, saw it pop up again. And that officer has been reinstated because the testimony given by the persons who were apprehended with illegal drugs in the country, they gave a statement which ties them to the officer, saying that the officer was supposed to pick up the plane and the packages. But under proper investigation, there was no substantial evidence to connect the officer to those who were apprehended on the scene of the crime. So he is back on the job. Now, even that alone, could you imagine a person who gets locked up for a couple of keys of dangerous drugs saying to investigators that the person who they were supposed to turn the drugs over to is actually a police officer? So these kind of stuff that we're talking about, that goes on in our country, that goes on invisible, and people use their power to do illegal activities to benefit themselves. And that's why I'm saying now, I'm glad that we are taking this step. Okay? I'm glad. I see Mr. Thompson, Tyrone Thompson. Good night to you, sir. And my cousin, Boy the New Bull. Thank all of you for tuning in to Garden Radio 96.9 and to my show Inside the Inner City. Okay? And here's again, Commissioner of Police, Paul Rolle. I'm trying to remove officers' warrior mentality. Officers' warrior mentality. Remember I talked a little earlier on the show when there's 100 murders, the police are aggressive. So they become just like a guy on the streets who's killing innocent people. They become aggressive just like that person. And sometimes they make mistakes because they forget that they're police officers and they're peacemakers. But because of the violence that's plaguing the country, sometimes they themselves become part of the problem. Okay? And I can reference that when we look at the footage, I think about 2 years ago, when some young kids were around Bank of the Bahamas on Shirley Street, and we saw an officer was telling them to vacate the area, and in doing so, the young kids hesitated a few seconds, and the officer used his baton on them. And then the response was, by then commissioner, was that we getting what came from our community. So the commissioner saying, we're getting the people from the inner city community or in the Bahamas who joined the force. They had the problem from home, and they bring it on the police force. Now they are using that same mentality now that they are police. So they're using it as brutality. They're using it to take advantage of, and etc. You could be a police officer, but that don't mean you got to take advantage of nobody. You know? I have Uncle Barry Brennan. He's a retired officer. And the reports I get from him, he still lives in Grandstand. And if he ever bothered with anyone in that community, I would be telling you a lie, because he know how to blend in. But if something illegal is going on, he steps in. But he know how to balance his power. He never was an intimidator or believe he was the all-powerful. You know, he always was a human first and understand the situation that his position as an officer holds integrity and holds respect. And in order to have respect, you got to earn respect. And he earned respect in the whole entire community and the Royal Bahamas Police Force. You know, and integrity also is my good friend, Zach Jeffrey Tucker. You know, he was killed, I think, must be about 15, 20 years ago by an ex-police officer. And, you know, Zach was epitome of what a Royal Bahamas Police Force officer supposed to represent. Yes, Zach. And I'm really disappointed in the Royal Bahamas Police Force for not really honoring Zach Jeffrey Tucker, the way they're supposed to really honor that police officer. He's one of the finest officers I ever met. When we was in gangs and he heard that his fellow colleagues were looking for us, he would come looking for us, whether we through the shortcut or whether it would be to a abandoned house, and this is our stash house, okay? And he would come looking for us. And when he would find us, we would never run from him. And he would come in his firearm, and he'd come in his partner, and he would see us. And sometimes we would be doing things illegally, but he know that he is not abusing his power, and he know the best way to reach us is by being our friend. And he would come and say, "We want it." And he say, "You want me to take you in the station?" He say, "You know what, them other guys, if they catch you, they can beat your butt. So it's better you to go with me." And I say, "You come with me." So he would take many of the young men who were wanted or had matters against them, and he would take them to various different stations. He would drop them off, and then he would check on them as to go to their family. He lost his life from a corrupted officer, Emmanuel, and this happened by the store right down there on East Street. After the store was broken, he found a fellow officer who was doing illegal activity, and Zach, being an officer that he was, apprehend him, search him, and give him the benefit of the doubt that he was doing a stakeout. But he was doing a stakeout all right. He was breaking in a store. He already broken the store. He had a legal firearm on him. And Zach, being an officer that he was, told him that he'd have to take him into the station, which he was taking him to the South Beach station, to verify his position that he spoke, that he was doing stakeout. And on his way to the station, the officer begged him not to carry him to the station and told him it was a stakeout. And Zach said, "Buddy, if you ain't doing nothing wrong, you don't have nothing to worry about." Being a fellow officer, Zach Jeffrey Tucker did not put handcuffs on him. And on his way to the station, the officer shot Zach in the back of his head. Zach, for some strange reason, was very strong, and I guess got at him. He stumbled, and his head hit the wheel of the patrol car, and the car went speeding across the road. While this was going on, an ex-police officer on the force was in the car. I see he's still on the force today. The officer turned on his next colleague, and he shot him in the shoulder. And that police officer actually jumped out the front of the patrol car, and then the car collided. And there was a person who got apprehended with Zach, as Zach was carrying the officer to the station. He picked up a guy who was going to Atlantis to work. That's in the 90s. When they were building Atlantis, 90s, 2000, early 2000, between the 97, 98, going into 2000. He was going to work, and he got locked up because, he was being arrested. So Zach wasn't taking no charges, alarm going off. So anyone you see suspicious on the road, this was actually around 4 or 5 o'clock. And the young man, he had nothing to do with the break-in. And he was in the car also. So after the wicked officer, the crooked officer shot Zach in the head and then shoot the next officer, he went to go kill the passenger. But the passenger was smart enough to actually jump on the car and break off running. And he was the one to tell the whole story about the whole situation. And remarkably, when he went to go shoot the passenger, Zach, who got shot in his head from close range, was able, I don't know how or what, so the police serves his purpose. He was able to regain conscious and return fire, and he killed the wicked, crooked police officer. So Zach saved both his colleague's life, and he saved the passenger's life, but he lost his life doing his job to a crooked, wicked cop. If he was able to be breaking in Little Generals. That's the place, Little Generals. And this happened Valentine's. I can always remember this. Valentine's, Saturday night, going into Sunday morning. Yeah, Little Generals. Could you imagine how much other stuff he was involved with? Just like how we have in here where we are seeing where officers, right? Names can call in an ongoing case with dangerous drugs on the Family Island. Officers now being charged with manslaughter. You see, we have to get this country right. All right? And I'm glad that the Attorney General Office, the Minister of National Security put forward the matter. I don't know if these officers are innocent or guilty, but they are being investigated properly. They're being charged. They're being put on bail. And now they have a case pending where it'll be a voluntary bill of indictment. And these are the steps we're going to have to take. I see my good friends, Jerry Springer, watching. Chang M. Lach, he is in Singham, and he's saying, yeah, let me go back. Oh, that was a good comment, Chang, but I missed it. Sorry about that. But he's saying there are some good cops on the force, and there are many bad cops on the force. You know? I missed that message just now. Yeah, I get on here saying he can't never forget Zach. I tell you, Zach was one of the greatest police officers, I swear. You know, he could have get a gun from me. If he come to me anytime and he said, man, Scoochie, you might need to change it, he could get anything from us, you know? Anything. We could find out information on rival gangs or what's going on, or rapists, or people breaking in the community, even though we were crooks. You know, we just violent crooks. We were not no crooks who into raping nobody, into breaking in no one's house and etc. No, we were not that type. We just was fighting fire. We just a bunch of violent guys, you know. Yeah. So this is a step in the right direction because, you know, we can't have where the citizen killing 100 people a year. Then we have the police, you know, involved in, you know, some unjustifiable killing in the country. And we all know some of these is be unjustifiable. And we see the system must protect them. And that's why many people lose the trust in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And mind you, we still need the Royal Bahamas Police Force, okay? Because even now, if a suspicious person is walking around the streets and I see him, I call in the police. What do you think I could do? You think I going on there? No, I gonna call the police because the police are still useful to us. Okay? Yeah. So let me read. Commissioner Paul Rule is saying, I'm trying to remove officers' warrior mentality. So now let's get into that. I explained the mentality, you know. So since the guys on the streets are shooting and killing people, the police say to themselves, they're going to shoot and kill. That can't work. You're law enforcement. Those guys are rogue individuals, and you have to investigate them properly. You can't think the same as the guys them on the streets. That is not a balance. That is not a balance. You just can't shoot first and ask question later. That's not going to work in the society. Violence is only going to bring violence. And I learned that being in the gang. Okay? I've been shot at in my life from 23 different individuals who were gang leaders in the country. I could go on from Kelsey Lundy, a.k.a. Scrooge. You know, my name is Scrooge, but Kelsey Lundy is the original Scrooge. My name is Scoochie, and they gave me the name Scrooge because the three ghosts and how I changed my life around Christmas. And then some visitors from the UK came, and when they heard the story about me, they said, that's my name. So it's not actually my original name, it's just my name. So they're saying like how I changed my life around the three Christmas ghosts, and Scrooge was a mean, old, grumpy man. And then he changed around and become one of the most lovable person in the world. So when I told them my story about my life, and they see how I am the day when they met me, they said, I'm not even close to the person I'm describing in the past. So that's why they called me Scrooge. But my good friend who was my arch enemy, Kelsey Lundy, a.k.a. is the original Scrooge on East Street. And he has a restaurant and bar on Gibbs Corner. Him and his wonderful wife, Melissa. You know? And niggas, guys like Marvin Bodie, legendary Marvin Bodie, now deceased Arlington Butler. Marvin Bodie and Lynx, both of them run at me shooting 245. And I could always remember this thing. The two of them were shooting at me 245 and I was on H screen. Two of them just shooting 245 at me. And man, bullets grazing me left and right. So I've been in many gun violence in the country. All right? I can't tell you on my end what I was involved with because I'd be incriminated myself, you know, so I can't, you know. So I tell you, I talk this thing so we can better our country, so that the young youths who are listening can hear some truth and use this voice and the names I call. Because the guys I'm talking about legendary when it comes to warfare, gang warfare. Kelsey Lundy, Marvin Bodie, when I was, even Charms one, Little Frankie, you know, even Scrubber who was on the show. You know, these guys are legendary, you know. But now all of them turning their life around and being community-minded persons in their community. And they still have their struggles because the community has some problems that they're trying to correct. And it takes a lot of time and effort. So, you know. Okay. So, we're going to take this one call, and then we're going to read what the Commissioner of Police, Paul Roll, is talking about the Warriors mentality. Go ahead, you're on Inside the Inner City. They want to get on the show?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Good night.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, how's everything?
Everything is fine, sir.
Hey, man, you always done a good job. You know, I like to really sit back and listen, you know.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's
yeah,
great.
I don't know if you remember the matter what did happen with the police in Pine when they said the police officer was living in the home and his mommy was being threatened. The boy was threatening his mommy and the police had him shooting the boy, trying to defend his mommy. You remember that?
Yeah.
But they had not. The boy the young man was in an arm or anything.
No.
And the police officer came out of the room with the weapon. And if the police officer couldn't see him while he was in the room, how did the police officer know that he would have needed a weapon to manhandle the man? I mean, the young boy.
Yes. And these the kind of things. Go ahead. Sorry. No, you go ahead. You were talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know how the police officer, right? If you're in your room and you hear your mommy, obviously, if you're in your room, you don't know what's going on. The only way you can know is when you come out. But you can't come out with your gun. They didn't say he returned back to the room to his weapon. They say he came out and he met the boy riding with his mommy. If the boy wanted to attack his mommy, ain't nothing that police officer could do because he had enough time to do it.
Yes, you're correct.
So obviously that matter never was brought back to the public to let the public know what happened with that matter.
These are things would get sweep.
Go ahead.
These are things would get sweep under the rug. We call these invisible. I call these invisible stuff.
And what is so amazing about that matter is that the police officer spokesperson said that shooting was justified before it even reached the coroner. He said that during the time he was speaking, he said that, that is justified because the officer had to defend himself.
There's no investigation that's going on for him to even speak and say it's justified because the coroner have to come and investigate the matter. He has done a disservice to the Royal Bahamas Police Force. That's what we're talking about right now.
Right. And these kind of things go on. And the incident which you spoke about, I'm glad you brought that up. That's why I said I like listening to your show. When you brought up the incident with the officer whose name was called on a major drug bust over $25 million.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And they keep it. I mean, I thought it was fake news because I wanted to talk about it on the airwaves. But when I saw it on Facebook, I said, hold on, this can't be real. This in the Bahamas. Then it was off Facebook. Then when I looked yesterday, it's back in the news. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, what is so amazing about that is this. How dare Commissioner of Police? How dare the Commissioner of Police say he closed that investigation? How dare he come to the public and talk that nonsense? That just happened a couple of weeks ago.
That's right.
How you figure that out? Commissioner, how you figure that out? Look, watch this now. The commissioner say the man's word wasn't good enough against the officer.
The criminals, the guys who get catch with the drugs now. What? The guys who get catch with, how much drugs you say, sir?
$25 million.
$25 million. And if their words ain't concrete,
Okay, you believe them when they said that they guilty, but you ain't believe them when they say this man become the drugs off too?
you know why police is doing investigation? They do investigation when it's first fresh because they know they get you at a disadvantage and they know that they could get the most out you in 24 hours, right? So once they get you, you could talk, my brother, because you know you get catch with $25 million worth of drugs. And those DU officers are asking, well, you better tell us, give us something. So he can give you something. And what he's going to give you is going to be the truth because a desperate man, man, knowing he going to jail, will talk.
Right.
And his word is credible.
Right. And the thing was so surprising, Commissioner, I'm surprised at you, Commissioner. The thing about it is this, right?
Go ahead, sir.
The Commissioner, if it was me, I can give the Commissioner some advice, man.
Yeah.
Commissioner, that man wasn't coming on the force no time zone.
No.
Listen to me, Commissioner. He wasn't coming on no force no time zone. Let me tell you why. I had to find out whether or not
It's true.
his living,
Expenses goes up.
his
How he
ability to
living.
live and his survival with his home, to
Right.
wherever he live and whatever he own.
Right.
I'd have to find out whether or not that match what these people are saying.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I would have put him under some serious investigation, and buddy using it on no force, no time zone.
Yes.
I was going to investigate his bank account,
Yes.
whatever he owned, whatever his family, he might have turned over to his family name.
Yes.
I would have do all of that investigation first.
Yes.
And then I had to say, when those fellas let me know that they call his name, I was going by his house and get a search warrant to search his home.
Yes.
To make sure he don't have no drugs by his house.
Yes.
I wasn't department on no back. This ain't no time to part no back. This serious issues.
Yes.
And the commissioner of police got a nerve to say that ain't enough to hold the man. Man, I lose all respect for the commissioner. I can let you go ahead, man. I can let you finish, man.
Oh Lord, I'm glad I'd like to have this conversation. We won't get this
I
country right.
can't
Listen.
deal with the commissioner. Commissioner,
Listen.
I would rather keep that police officer and get rid of the commissioner.
Listen. When I was not just a gang leader, I was also a drug dealer. Okay. When I got out of the gangs, I went into the drugs. And when officers used to come to raid me, you call it a raid. You know, you're selling marijuana, you're selling crack cocaine. So they have a specific time they come and they raid you. And once they raid you, they do a stakeout. And they find a spot where you are. They don't just come. So they plot it out for 3 months, 4 months. Then they come, they surround the place. Once they know you're in there. So once they get you in there, they search the place. And if they find something, right, the first thing they're going to tell you, we get you now. Now you got to give us something. You need to give us something in order for you to get out of here. All right?
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
But most importantly, once any one of those person name who come, if I say I'm the one who lock up and I say, well, Paul Rhodes is the commissioner and he is the one who I was supposed to give the key to, you know what I mean, to open the door so I could get the stuff out there, Paul Rhodes is going to be investigated. Because my word is concrete, because we want information. So I don't understand what the commissioner's talking about. They say they can't find no evidence. Officers are smart, but just by the incrimination of those persons involved in illegal activity, even to mention this officer's name, they mentioned the officer's name. So this is credible. So that's why you saying they supposed to go investigate this officer's bank account, what he is billing, and etc. Because these guys knew who he was.
Yeah.
The pilot knew who he was. They knew who he was.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I don't know. I would have, trust me, I would have bring in special officers to deal with him.
Yes. Just like
I would bring in officers from away because I want to crack this. I want to find who else involved with this.
Yes. That's why go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
That's why the CID officers now are charged those 4 officers for the manslaughter. Now, we're not saying they're guilty, but at least the criminal investigation department did their investigation, find that the evidence is credible for them to be put before the court, and then they was dismissed by the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Now they're before the court, and that's the kind of transparency you want to see. That's what you want to see, sir?
But people mightn't believe it, right?
Yes, sir.
People mightn't believe it. The chief in command of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, all them who are in charge, It's them who decide whether that person is going to be charged.
Yes,
Not
yes.
the investigating officer.
Yes, it comes from high up.
It comes from high up.
Yes.
They can't charge nobody unless the chief say, go
Yes.
ahead and charge them.
You're right.
So he controlling them.
Yes.
He
Yes.
controlling them. Even if they say, what are you talking about? This man's supposed to be in jail. What are you talking about? But
Yes.
you can't do that.
Yes. You're so right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
I mean, this thing with the police, that boy was got shot in Pinewood. It's good that those officers got charged. I am
Yes.
very happy and I'm glad you continue to bring this issue up
Yes.
because we have a deeper problem in this. At
Yes.
least you would be a part of solving this problem
Yes.
because you for sure can keep them on guard.
Yes, I will. I'll come with
But
this
I
life.
thank you very much. I can
Yes.
leave on that.
Thank you very much. See, I came from this life, so you can't put no tricks on me. I could read between the lines because I've been involved in all these situations. There's no one more experienced than me when it comes to these kind of matters. I've been locked up, must be about 1,000 times. Instead of me wearing a watch, I need to wear a silver bracelet. We're gonna take this next call. Go ahead, caller. You're on Inside the Inner City.
Hey, bro, how you doing?
I'm fine. Good night to you.
Good night.
All right.
I love your show. It's the first time I heard you.
Wow, it's amazing. Thank you very much.
I love your show, man. Your story alone is a ministry.
Yes, sir.
Your story is a ministry. I was just driving and I tuned in and I was listening to you, and I love your transparency. I love your story, and your story can help a lot of young people.
Yes, sir.
I think I don't know why they don't have you during the daytime. At night, not much people could hear you, but you have a voice and you have something to say.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing. You're doing an awesome job.
Yes, sir. I want to say thank you very much. You can see my voice. I appreciate the word of advice. Make me feel so proud of myself, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, you take care. God
Yes.
bless.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, it's not about the money. Those same kind words that the gentleman just said just now means a lot, because you could see in his voice he is sincere about calling you and to encourage me. And that's why I have the show on Guardian Radio. I use this show, like the gentleman said just now, to make changes in the procedures that goes on in our country, to talk about the invisible and how to fix it, not to condemn the Royal Bahamas Police Force, but there's practices that goes on that cannot continue in this country, okay? And for us citizens out here who live in the country, we don't have the power to put people before the court, but we have democracy. We have freedom of speech. So just like how I'm using this airwaves to speak about this matter of my past experience and I could relate, then that's why freedom of speech is so important and democracy is so important. And it's great to have these dialogue because we find out where we are at fault. So I want to read you what the Commissioner of Police is saying. Police Commissioner Paul Rule says the Royal Bahamas Police Force takes its relationship with the public seriously and stress the commitment to remove the warrior mentality from officers as they interact with Bahamian people. See, when I say the officers are so aggressive, okay, when they leave with that station and they're hearing all the shooting and the violence happening in the country, I could be a law-abiding citizen. I have never been before the court. I've never been arrested. But when these officers approach me if I run a light or for some strange reason they target me, either my car looks suspicious or something going down or something just going on, but I'm still a law-abiding citizen. I have no recall of no criminal matters or etc. The officer acts in a particular way towards me like I'm nothing. And in my response, I'm going to get agitated. And when I get agitated, this is going to lead from just a pullover to resisting arrest, what you call obscene language, and then over 2 other charges for a person who is a law-abiding citizen just because the officers have this warrior mentality in them, like the commissioner is stating that he wants to remove from the Royal Bahamas Police Force. All right? Because with high crime, that still don't mean you got to act like how the murderers and rapists and armed robbers acting in the country. You have to act with integrity, so we have a balance where me as a citizen will have faith in the Royal Bahamas Police Force and give information and be able to work closely with the Royal Bahamas Police Force, because I need the Royal Bahamas Police Force, regardless of what I say in here, okay? Without the Royal Bahamas Police Force, what you think is going to happen to the country? We'll be in chaos. No rules, no law, no police present. We'd be finished. Everyone would be doing their own thing. So the law itself protects us, but we can't have the law breaking the law. That's a no-no. And then they use the political system and they use the fraternity of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Because like I said, there are many officers who can't talk on one another. Whether you commit an illegal activity whilst you're on the job as a police force, those officers are never going to talk on you, because that is a secrecy they sign as a fraternity. Just like, listen to what this one goes on when a new government gets sworn in or a senator gets sworn in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The first thing you hear they swear to is that the Prime Minister, on becoming the Prime Minister, he have to get appointed by the Governor General. He has to get sworn in by the Governor General. And the first thing he says, he swear to serve the Queen and her ancestors. Secondly, he swears to hold everything confidential that is discussed in Parliament by his colleague a secret. All right? Then thirdly, they swear to the Bahamian people. Source of eternity. And then if you listen to when former Minister of Education, Jerome Fitzgerald, say, you go after one, is one for one. I can't remember the phrase, I try to remember. But he said something like, we protect one another. All right? So just like politicians protect one another, you know, just like how the former Prime Minister now is defending his government on the recent, what did the name now? With the government, the hurricane relief funds, etc. The trust company they set up with the visa, I can't remember the name. The visa, I get it right in my head, man. You know, I be talking so much different topics, so it's hard for me. You know, I would think slow and comprehend it. I can't remember the name, but anyway, they're saying that, I read a little earlier, that it wasn't even approved and there was no contract signed, but it still was approved, you know? So it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, let me finish reading what the commissioner said. He says, yeah, warrior mentality from police officers as they interact with people. This mentality, said, breeds confrontation. The confrontation, what he's talking about is, like I said, I could be a law-abiding citizen, I wouldn't break no law, but I'm pulled over by police officers. But their approach and the way they speak to me changed my whole misdemeanor, my attitude, because I'm asking a question, I can't get an answer from the officer. The officer's supposed to protect and serve me when they pull me over, and they're supposed to be courteous to me when they pull me over, as long as I ain't offensive to them. As long as I'm saying, yes sir, no sir, what's the problem, sir? Some of these officers, you can't even say that to them. Some of them, if they pull you over and you say, officer, excuse me, what you want? Hey, I ain't ask you nothing. Or, hey, shut up. When they finish, I can talk to you. You know, and then you go say as a citizen, hey, you can't talk to me that way. And then there's going to be a back and forth between you and the police officer. And that's what he's talking about right there, confrontation. All right? And that's what goes on in our country now. But we all Bahamians. And these are the things we have to address in this country. All right? That's what goes on invisible in our country. And then the citizen has to go and get a lawyer, right? Because he get a 40 charges on him. He have to get a lawyer to defend himself, all right? Like, for instance, for me, I spent $12,000 on my case, and I had to pay for the guy who got locked up with me. And I'm innocent, and he is innocent, you know? And I got all kind of charges put on me. And it took me about a year for me to win my case. And I spent $12,000. That money was supposed to go to fix my roof on my house, to buy my shingles, my plywood. But trying to be a good Samaritan, talking to the police officer, trying to explain something to him of what happened, he ain't even listen to that. So this is the confrontation that the commissioner is talking about now, because that's how I get in confrontation, and that's how I got in many confrontation, you know? You see? So that's the confrontation you're talking about. You know, so when we see all this disorderly behavior, resisting arrest, and etc. Now, some of this be on the hands of the Bahamian people who act disorderly. If the police officer pull you over and you want to carry on badly, and you deserve what you get. But as long as you act accordingly as a citizen and you do nothing offensive towards his officer, right? There's no reason for him to get in a confrontation with you. He's supposed to be able to de-escalate the situation, okay? Because, you know, he has to do his job professionally because he is getting paid by the taxpayers, and taxpayers are me and you. So we could ask question. We should. Why are we getting pulled over, or why are you trying to get in my house? You know, and we are seeing all this stuff. So we have to properly have policies in place that if you're an officer, these are the requirements that you should live by as an officer of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Okay? Simple as that. So let me finish reading. His comments came after several high-profile incidents of police using deadly force, including last month's police shooting of a decorated Royal Bahamas Police Force, among other incidents. Now, see, listen to me. This is the first incident he is talking about. All this is be covered up. All right? You got to read between the line. All right? But ain't nothing that's going to come out this matter between this defense force officer getting killed and the officers responsible for his death. Because they are government agencies and they cannot sue one another. What they're going to do, they're going to settle this out of court. Okay, settling out of court means they're going to talk to the family. They're going to tell them this is an internal investigation, and we can't sue one another. You think the police force is going to sue the Royal Bahamas Police Force? Police force is going to sue the Royal Bahamas Defense Force? That's like a cancel out. That don't make no sense. So what they're going to do is they're going to tell the family, don't talk to the press. We're going to settle this out of court, right? Because remember they say we was going to see the footage. And then they showed it to the family, I guess. And then they told the family they told the Bahamian people that we were going to let the footage out to the general public to see that the shooting was justifiable. Am I correct? Have you seen that video? Huh? Have you heard anything from the family from them? Because that is being settled out of court. Huh? So they're going to probably get a few $1,000, a few $1 million, and they're going to keep it undercover. Okay? And this is stuff that I'm talking about. And then we had by the government house, where we had an officer, a Royal Bahamas Defense Force officer was killed on government house. And the accused was an ex-Royal Bahamas Defense Force officer. A gun was firing on the property of the government house. And this is supposed to be the safest place in the Bahamas, the government house, because they have defense force officers, they have police officers, they have armed guards, and etc. The officer was killed on the grounds. The officer gave a statement. The officer said that he was being mistreated by his senior officers. In his statement, gun was found. He was shot before the court. Case gone on with 6, 7 months or 8 months. He was acquitted. The accused was acquitted. So he was freed. So who killed the defense force officer? So on the grounds of the government house, where the governor general is being. Well, who killed the defense force officer? All evidence led to the fact that it was an ex-defense force officer. He was mistreated by his superiors. Now the case dismissed. No one is being charged with this defense force officer murder, but it's on government house, and that's it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Next call. Okay, go ahead, caller. You're on Inside the Inner City. And my pleasure to have you on.
Hey. What's up? Selassie.
Hey.
Yeah, listen, man, you know, Inside the Inner City is different, right?
Yes, sir.
And listening to you talk in retrospect from the Little General situation, the Little General case, right?
Yay.
Remember now, that's where your boy to get higher after the incident with the canal at South Beach, right? Jai and them people, man. Up by the canal. You remember that, right?
I trying to remember what you're
Yeah,
talking
we ain't
about.
calling no one name, man.
All right.
Marcel.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then let's do some chronology. And I remember the incident by the Tribune.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Where their gun was found to shoot their fellow officer, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Then let's remember the one with the 16-year-old A student shot on the back of the motorcycle, right?
On East Creek.
Yeah, with no, the evidence was the abundance of evidence of negligence, right?
Yeah.
And so we could go on and on, over and over, right, Squizzy?
Mm-hmm.
But those are just one or two things that I could remember. I like to bring up Chris Culmer, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of other things. Like the 15-year-old that died, they allegedly committed suicide in the Grove cell, right?
Yeah.
But now what is frightening for me, listen to your brethren, Squizzy. I'm afraid that there's no, listen to me, there's never been a reenactment, a forensic reenactment of the feasibility of these narratives that they give to the public. You understand me, Squizzy? There's never no real forensic reenactment to show the feasibility or the credibility of what you said happened. You
Right.
hear me? They know this. We don't want to attack them, but we know that this is time now for cameras left, right, and center.
Yes.
The brother you talk about with the case with the officers going to court now, right?
Yeah.
I know Iggy. That's Iggy.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up Iggy. I had a conversation with him a couple hours before that in front of Quakey Bar.
I know
All
the
right?
guy name.
I don't know. Mr. Real name was in the paper, but I know him as Iggy. You know what I mean? I see I had his name in the paper, but I know him as Iggy. You know me. I know all his friends. He used to be he boy them. I don't call him name.
Yeah,
He
I
boy
know.
them. With Bonanza them.
Yeah, I know the name.
Yeah.
I know the name, man. I know the name.
Squizzy, listen to me. I see you on Facebook and I look at your face and your face looks familiar, right? But I don't think you really know me. But let me tell you something. I used to be in Juilliard. Ruben, Mikey.
All of them I know.
Yeah. And
John Ruben right there.
Squizzy, you see, you talk about the government yard situation, right?
Yeah.
I just cycle avidly, right? So, I cycle on my, I just come up Blue Road, I just come up that back road by CR Walk and come up the hill early in the BB hours.
Yeah.
I just go run the steps. You could hear a pin drop in the back there. So I don't know how this could happen, like you say, but obviously it's supposed to be surveillance right down to the T, right?
Yeah.
Since we're moving towards this capitalist surveillance system, but
Yeah.
God help us all, The thing is, Squishy, the situation like what happened with Cow Pen, right? It'll be until now and then, but I'll give you a situation with my own credence with the police. This young lady was killed some years ago back to the corner where I live, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened is he have some brothers, them. They go up around your side, Old Boat Alley and round
Okay.
them and thing, right? So he was known to have this gun. So the word he had this gun. So the police come for him. And, the police at the two corner side, the corner part. I see them on the corner. I didn't know this gun, but I just walk in the house. So the gentleman was passing, and I was just staying, asking him about his sister funeral, et cetera, et cetera. You understand?
Yeah.
Because she was a little friend of mine, right?
Yeah.
She was young, and I was like, the police car pull up. They caught him right in the front of it. It was in the road now, the government road, and they opened the car door and they trapped him because he's a big fella, weighs 200 pounds. He couldn't run. So the police say to him, they yacked the gun. I was surprised. I mean, him was talking, the police yacked the gun on his way. So as they gone to search him, I was walking off. You know me. So I didn't know what he had on him. So the inspector come with the car and say, no, stop him. I say, stop who what? And then they throwing me up against the thing in the neighbor yard and searching me. So then, the inspector, lock up the two of them.
They had probable cause for pulling you over and searching. You see, all this is a violation.
No, but what I say is, excuse me, but let me show you this trick. Let me finish it. I will show you what. You don't know the law, they'll do you. So they tell me, say, them two together. I say, no, man, I just walk on me out this way, this nigga live down the road. Me and him is talking, me in the government road. How you could say we together? Me and me in no vehicle. Just how they say, and I'm charging 10 niggas with one gun.
Yeah.
So he know, he just see me come out. How you can tell me and the fella together that you watch me talking to the boy, I know the boy, you saying me.
Abusing his
they want
power.
That's how they go.
Yeah.
This happened over and over. I be in charge. I being locked up
Yeah.
and accused of all kind of things. I don't even say, like some things I even embarrassed, even saying already.
Yeah.
Because they didn't carry me to jail twice. You don't go to jail. I don't know where they get, but they get into jail and all this and that. But Squishy, if they don't clean up this act, Paul was starting to make a little impetus towards it, right? But judging from his previous statements, the police are infallible because here's where it's in. Me and you know from Big Show, Big Jew, Big Bros of Booty, we know with CID, we know what's going on. So what happened is, as a police officer have more wealth than he's supposed to have. 10 apartments, 10 properties, 10, whatever it is. You got to give an account for these things, all government officials. It seems to me as if society is a status quo attitude towards what could be confiscated. So if a person is known to be nefarious, then you could take everything from him. But if you have a government job and he won a couple $1 million worth of assets without giving account, he could get away with it. This is what I'm telling you, what I see on my 57 years on it. I ready to go now because I don't know where the world headed. I ain't going to be up here, so I wish everybody well and live in forever. You know what I'm saying? Have a good day, my brother.
Okay, thank you very much. You also make some good points. Yeah, you know, and we have to do something about it, you know. Like I say, you know, we can't do without the police. They keep us safe, but also we have some who break the law and they take the law in their own hands. And we have to look into these things. And we need a body that is going to protect the Bahamian people. And at the same time, we have to expect the Bahamian people to have accordance with the police officers too, because we can't have people being disobedient to the police officers, all right? All right? But you do have to defend yourself if the officers are being aggressive towards you, okay? So it has to be a 50-50 approach. Let me finish read. So, including last month's police shooting of a decorated Royal Bahamas Police Force, Defense Force officer, among other incidents. I want to assure members of the public that we talk our relations with the members of the public very seriously. And you know the police, by, consent? Let me see. Yeah, consent. Consent means that we have to always try to maintain a good working relationship with the members of public. The police chief said during a virtual press conference. That being said, where we find breaches, we see the level at which, I have taken to address the concerns. Now, when you say breaches, these are the breaches, what we're explaining now, that are not supposed to be a part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Because the police take the law into their own hands and they're not protected by the law. All right? And I'm hoping, taken to address the concerns, and I'm hoping that will be a step in the right direction. And then at that end, we have these, let me go to page 2. We have these, where it going now? So page 2. All right, that's not it. Trying to look for it. All right, find it. Sorry. And he states here, cases really reduce to a minimum while we build on our relationship with members of the public. He said it was his vision to reset the misconduct of some officers. So he is admitting these things we were talking about right now, okay? People getting beaten in the police station. This is going on now, right now in the police station, as we speak right now. Okay, where police is in full control of the civilians. And what about that? You know, these are all the breaches, you know, and this would cause young men to rebel and become hardened criminals. You know, because in those stations, listen, let me tell you there are some good officers who protect the citizens who are in the stations. And there are gangs of police in these stations. And they gang you. I ain't telling you, I know this. And this in turn makes you very rough. This is how I got rough while I was in custody. Because I saw the abuse when I was young. And I got my first set of abuse when I was in the stations. And through that got me, used to it. The slaps and the kicks and the punches and the abuse and the verbal abuse. But at the same time, there were many cops who I know personally who were very decent cops. But like I said, it's the balance. And that in turn made me a rough and tough guy once I was in the station. When I was in the station, I was a monster. I can tell you this now. If I reach the station and there are 8 guys in the cell and I'm locked up, when I reach that cell, everyone got to come off the bench. That's how I used to get on when I get locked up. That's how rough I was because the system made me rough and tough. All right, if a police said something to me or the characteristic, if I'm not disrespecting him, he can't want they tell you, say, but you, see on the road, I kill you, boy. You know what I tell them? I say, yeah. I say, if I get at your voice and I catch you slipping, same thing go to you, my brother. You know, these kind of talks that goes on with civilian and police officers. You know, and at the same time, I'm not encouraging this. I'm telling you what goes on in the station between civilians and police officers. There's be exchange of words. Sometimes the police is being wrong. Sometimes the criminal is being wrong. And if the criminal is wrong, let me tell you why. Because the criminal has become hardened. The jail and lockup doesn't mean a thing to him. He's used to that. He's used to sleeping on the ground. He's used to the abuse. He's immune to it. All right? So let me finish reading before the show is over. I can't see too good. You see, I can read good, but man, I need some glasses. I got to get some money for it. I'm broke right now. Spending all my money trying to finish my restaurant. But I could read good. So sorry for the little thing, but I just can't see too good. I got to get my glasses so I can do that. Probably next month when I get one little $800. A episode now, the COVID-19 game on. Yeah, so let's start with the issues that are on the table. All right, he talked about the public has expressed some concern, and those concerns that the public has expressed didn't just happen. They have happened over a period of time. But while I'm here, I'm trying to do at least begin the process. Yes, Commissioner. Start to do the process so that the officers now know that if you behave in accordance with the rules and regulation of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and you're found to be in violation of taking someone's life or being abusive to somebody, then we have the Criminal Investigation Department, which is a part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. They have no friends. They are part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. They have no friends, whether you're a civilian, whether you're a police officer, whether you have higher rank or lower rank. Their job is once the Attorney General has given them the okay to investigate, and once it's turned over in their hands, they investigate the commissioner, the assistant commissioner of police, any inspector on the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and once they find credible evidence that suggests that they have broken the law, then they themselves will be put before the magistrate court. Like we were seeing those 4 officers a few days ago got charged from the Criminal Investigation Department, and they were put before the prosecution of the Bahamas government. And that's what we're talking about. All right? So once officers know this, and once the citizen know that if I go make a report against an officer, now if I'm not lying, if I'm telling the truth, right? Because a lot of us as citizens tell a lot of lies. You know, a lot of us run to the station and tell lies on our neighbors. And when they come to find out it's not true, just as well a lot of us go to the station and we could be lying on the police officers as well. But as long as you're sincere and you're telling the truth, we should have a place where we could go and put in a complaint. The complaint is investigated. I'm giving information. I'm text on my phone that investigation is going on, where to go to get more information on the matter. It just can't be that it just gets slapped and we never hear about it again. No. So yes, Commissioner, you're taking the first step. And we need to put these procedures in place. And you're hearing, I'm talking to you guys, and you're hearing the Commissioner of Police saying what we're saying live on TV and radio. This is all for all of us in the country, you know. That's why I'm glad Guardian Radio gave me this show. This is for all of us. This is to better and protect all of us right now. This move that the Royal Bahamas Police Force trying to take the warriors mentality of the officers and to put those who break the law before the court, this is what we're going to have to do, because for too long, officers are being protected by the system. And it's now that once we take that away, it'll make them more responsible in their duties as law enforcement officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. They'll act with more integrity, and honesty, and due diligence, and that's what we want here in the country. So let me finish reading before the show is over. To change the mindset of police officers from warrior mentality as though we are in a war. Yeah, that's what the commissioner said. As though we are in war. Okay? You see? That is a confrontation. We need to move the police force towards a partnership where people could feel comfortable talking with police officers. comfortably giving their police officers information. That is where we are trying to head. And so more and more, that's going to be one of the things that I want to do and make the public assured that we are going to do our best part to make sure that we all are accountable for our action. Yes, all of us got to be held for our action. The police officers who break the law, me as a citizen who break the law, yes, I need to be held accountable. So, yes, I am a government official. Yes, I am a politician. Yes, I am a pastor. But I am not protected. I am just like a young man in the street who has no family, get charged for offense, get put before the court. If he get no one to sign his bill, he goes to jail. So we should have the same thing in place. All right? And that's what the commission is saying. Let me read it again. Talking with, all right, could feel comfortable talking with their police officers. Comfortably giving their police officers information. That is where we are trying to head, and so more and more, that's going to be one of the things that I want to do and make the public assured that we are going to do our best part to make that. All are accountable for our action. In 2002, the force recorded 20 incidents of police-involved shooting, resulting in 13 deaths and 9 non-fatal injuries. So that's attempted murder. So 11 deaths in 2021, and 9 other persons were shot by police, and they did not die. 10 of the fatal injuries are before the coroner's court. 10 of the fatal injuries are before the coroner's court. This is why the Bahamian people don't believe in the coroner's court. How long it's taking to talk to these family members? What guarantee you were telling the family members who are on Facebook, on the news right now, talking about their loved ones getting shot down, dead in the road, and asking questions? These matters are before the coroner's court, but yet still, these matters are taking too long. We need quick, speedy investigation and trials so that we can assure the public that, yes, that we are a country that treats our citizens fairly. And the commission is talking about building trust. So if you want to build a trust, you need to speed up these coroner's court. And then we're going to find out why Valentino Brown was killed. And then, somewhere down the line, I was probably wrong. Because when we do an investigation, Valentino Brown did not abide by none of the officers' advice. Come with the car, or put down your weapon, or etc. And I decline all those. An officer did all they can to de-escalate the situation. And I refuse as a citizen. So the officer has no choice but to fear for his life and use deadly force because Valentino Brown is defying the orders of the officer who represents the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who also a protector. So the officer has no choice but to defend himself and defend the citizens of the surrounding community. And then we'd find the truth. Then we'd find out about those what we call suspicious deaths. So let me already finish with it. Okay? I'm going to get about 5 more minutes, I think. We're going to do our part to make sure that we all are accountable for our actions. Yeah. And read that part. Almost finished. Yeah. None before the coroner's court. 1 is before the disciplinary tribunal, and 1 is before the magistrate court in 4 of the non-fatal incident. The suspects that engaged the police were charged. 7 police officers had been placed before the disciplinary tribunal and interdicted regarding a December 12, 2001 incident involving victims Anthony Johnson Jr., Anton Roll, Hashan Papal, and Will Donshaw Dorset, meaning 4 officers charged with manslaughter on Wednesday in connection with the November 2021 death of Mr. Carey also has been interdicted from duty. Interdicted means the Royal Bahamas Tribunal for Department has found credible information that this is enough to actually fire the officers and put them before the court. So this is what happens after the investigation goes on the tribunal that the officers go before, decided that this is a criminal matter. And now we have these officers before the court. Yes. So yes, this is a step in the right direction. And Commissioner, I could read this statement you're giving now, and you're telling the truth, and you're talking between the lines, and I'm telling the general public to talk in between the lines and show you that we're telling the truth on this show. And there are things that many of the officers are involved with, but go unscathed because they have colleagues. But now, we're heading in the right direction. I want to give special thanks to Chief, hold on, excuse me, and I think it's Chief Inspector, I know I get it wrong, Ashton Greenslade, Assistant Commissioner of Police Ashton Greenslade, PK Barnaby Jr., and like I said, Marco Cordet, Inspector Marco Cordet, Radzi, that's my friend Chucky daughter, and to many other officers, Clayton Fernando, Richardson, Alacup, Quentin Brennan. There are so many officers. But I just want to say to all the outstanding officers who I know personally, I want to say to you guys, keep up the good work. And the show was not to how should I put it? Not to be disrespectful to the Royal Bahamas Police Force, because we need them. The show tonight was to get an understanding on how we can bring a balance. And like the commissioner said, he wanted to remove that mentality from the officers and build public trust. And I think this is a step in the right direction. And I hope everyone enjoyed the show. I want to say thanks to Charms One, Hours. I want to send a special shout out to my friend Kezi Lundy, aka Scrooge, his wife Melissa, to all the small business, and especially to Joey's on Fish Fry, the sponsor of this show tonight on Inside the Inner City. So I want to say thanks to everyone who listened to the show. I hope I had a wonderful show. And I want to thank Guardian Radio for having me on the show, because I'm sure Guardian Radio is real happy to have this inside stuff that I bring to the table from my past experience. And it's making a lot of changes in the country. I want to say to the Guardian Radio, this show has made a lot of changes. A lot of bills are being signed in Parliament because of the same young man in this show. A lot of questions are being asked, and a lot of how I should put it, a lot of progress has come out of this show. So I want to say thanks and good night to my producer, and to everyone. Drive safe. Have a wonderful, wonderful Friday night. Enjoy.
La 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 la. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I represent Bahamian people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Bintan, bro. Boy, I from Bintan, bro.